Okay, we can see this green, but I'd rather wear my glasses than not wear my glasses because I don't know. Right now, I feel like I'm looking a little dead, and the glasses kind of bring me to life a little bit. So, glasses it is, even if you can see that. Maybe if I go like this. There's no getting rid of it. Okay, let's just get into this video then. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ocean Bayeha, but if that's too much of a tongue twister, then you can call me Ocean B. So, as you guys can tell by the title of this video, I am going to be talking about finding your purpose, right? And I've kind of been referencing it since, should I make this a series? I should totally make this a series. Should it be a series, guys? All of these videos are being recorded before I even posted any of them. I think like the first 8 videos are recorded before I posted any of them. That's why I'm still I'm gonna call it episode 4 or 5, and I think we're on episode 5, and I don't know if I'm calling it an episode or if I'm calling it a series, introducing this whole channel or this series, I guess. I'm trying to get rid of the green. Enough rambling. Let's get into what I've been referencing since episode 1 of the series, which is purpose. How to go about purpose. I mean, if I think about what purpose is, it's like what I would define that person's nature to be, or what is that person intrinsically designed to do in the world that they're in the world that we live. And so if I look at purpose, it's like I'm going to reference to me because who else is here? Just me. So let's just reference me. And so I have to say, what is Ocean's purpose? What is it that Ocean is meant to achieve? And it's hey, how do I figure out what I'm meant to achieve? Some people would tell you that your purpose should be what you like. So then you find the thing that you like and then focus on it, do it, strive for it. You should be happy doing what you love. I personally think that's a little bit rubbish to just presume that you should just do what you like, because what you like might be frivolous, useless to you, non-beneficial. It might not bring you any money, because unfortunately in this world, you need money to live. You need money to survive. You need money to make a living. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not going to be directly, and sometimes things that you like, feelings, interests, change. One day I might love flying and being on an airplane, and then if I've done it too much, then I no longer want to do it and I just want to rollerblade and skateboard and whatever. To presume that I should just do something that I like would also entail that I will change what I'm doing. I will find a new hobby every day, a new career every day, and there are stories of people who do that, who are looking for a new career, a new path, a new thing to do because they got bored with the old one, because unfortunately, that's how feelings work. That's how interests work. One day you might be interested, and the next day you're not. And if you're hyper focused on doing something that you like, then you're likely going to end up not sitting in your purpose. The point of what I'm trying to say is to sit in your purpose, because I believe that sitting in your purpose, you get the most fulfillment out of yourself in life. But I'll get further into that, I guess, later on. Now, in comparison, I believe I heard Charlie Kirk say this to somebody on just a discussion, an argument that he was having with some college students, and saying how you should be doing what you're good at, not what you like. And he kind of referenced to the fact that he's really, really into hockey, but would he be the best and do his best, make the most out of doing something that he just likes, when obviously he's way better at politics? The guy's in politics and has his own company and Turning Point USA, and I couldn't tell you exactly what his company is comprised of, but that's besides the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that he's basically saying, or briefly stated, but I'm not going to make it seem like that's his fundamental argument because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm just pulling him as a reference for the sake of what I'm trying to say, which is that some people might think that it's important to just do what you're good at. And that means what's it called? I might be good at hacking computers, but I do not hacking computers. What's it called? Obviously, I'm not good with computers. That's why I can't find the wording that I'm looking for, but Man, like doing that computer stuff. Like, you know, the people who are good and tech savvy, like I might be good with computers. Sure. But do I like it? Am I interested in it? Is it something I'm passionate about? No. And so then would I still fulfill my purpose by doing so? Probably not. Because just because I'm good at it, that does not mean that that's what I'm meant to do. That doesn't mean that's where I'm going to get the most out of what I bring in this world, or what I'm meant to bring to this world, and whatever aspects of it that I am a part of. And so I would say that ideally it would be a combination of both. What are you actually very good at, and what are you interested in? And sometimes what you're good at, you like. You often become good at something because you do it so much because you enjoy it. But there's moments where what you like isn't in accordance with what you're good at, and what you're good at isn't in accordance with what you like. But the goal is to find something that you are good at doing, that you actually love doing intrinsically, passionately, and confidently. If I have to talk about my experience finding my purpose, and I would definitely say that now I think I have a better idea of what I think my purpose is, and what I'm meant to bring to this world, and the part that I am meant to play. And I do believe that every person has a part to play, no matter how that may look like. That means that I could be a lawyer, I could be a doctor, I could be an artist,
I could be a dancer,
I could be a singer,
I could be a chef,
I could be a cleaning
person. That may be my purpose. Everybody's value is equal. Everyone's purpose is their purpose. It's different. It's whatever skill set, interest that best suits them. Let me tell you something. Not everyone is going to come and sit here and tell me that they can clean as good as everyone else. Think about it for a second. To understand the correct kind of products to use to clean, let's say, whatever this wall texture or paint this may be, and understand, oh, that kind of products work best on this kind of material. That's a whole other, and they might not be like, they're not super good with chemistry, because then you could argue that whoever's good in chemistry could probably figure it out, but not necessarily. It's just understanding that the combination of certain products mesh well with certain other products, and that it will be more efficient to clean this wall or that texture or that carpet or this pillow, or that is a whole skill. And the idea that some skills are more valuable than others, sorry friend, not necessarily, because everyone has their purpose, everyone has their part, everyone has their part to play in this world. Musicians, to be able to hear and to distinguish the different kinds of tunes and sounds, that's a skill in itself. Artists, to be able to visualize a concept and then putting onto paper, to see an image and replicate it just by looking at it and understanding the detail that it requires off the top of your head. You know, it's if you really understand how intricate it is, it shows you how it's a beauty in itself. Filmmakers, those who take the job honestly, and the ability to create a story, to evoke a certain emotion through a storyline. Comedians, to understand the right kind of pitch, the right kind of punchlines, the right kind of jokes that will elicit a response of joy and laughter. And oftentimes we're all different, and we sometimes have different perceptions, but to understand what most people are going to get or going to laugh about, even if you think about those comedic shows, scripts, it's so funny. Like, why is it so funny? That's a skill. But it's just to say that in no way, shape, or form is any person's skill less valuable than another. But you can only excel in that area if it's your purpose. By the way, I'm not going to tell you what I think my purpose is. I'm not going to say what I think my role in this world is to be. I'll let the people listening to me talk and discover like who I am, understand what maybe Ocean's purpose is as they learn to understand themselves. And it might look completely different. And it's sometimes very slight nuances between each other, right? It's just something that you might bring in addition. I think a lot of people get really stuck with how to make fast money. A lot of people get stuck with what is everyone else doing in society, what's easy, what's comfortable. But if everyone did that, there wouldn't be anything new. There would be nothing evolved. There wouldn't be anything to make our life as comfortable as it is now. To the materials that we have, to the internet, our cell phones, easy access, buses, cars, everything that you can think about. It had to be somebody to think outside of the box, find something that they're good at, something that they're fascinated and interested in, and contemplate it, investigate it, and understand it. Those people were sitting in their purpose and were able to make a difference and are now recognized for it today. And not everyone, even in their purpose, can be like Einstein and be remembered so fundamentally in this world or make a huge difference in this world. And it's a little bit harder now to make that big of a difference now and be remembered so drastically now, because so many of these thinkers, so many of these scientists, so many of these artists already made their impact on the world and allowed for a lot of new discoveries now today, that if you think about it, you have to now learn everything that they had to discover. So you have to rediscover what they discovered and how they discovered it in order to understand how to discover something new, because you have to see what's already known in order to figure out what's not known. So I would definitely say that we probably have a little bit of a harder time now in terms of being more innovative and creative and understanding what our purposes are now in society, in the world. But it's not to say that back then everybody was sitting in their purpose, but it's to say that to get the best out of who you're meant to be is to sit in that purpose. I keep avoiding talking about it, but like I have to talk about how that experience was for me to understand what my purpose was, because I remember very vividly being 12, 13, 14 years old and sitting there with my mom and saying, I know that I'm meant to do something. I know I'm meant to make some sort of difference. I'm meant to do something specific in this world, but I have no clue what it is. And I was a kid who was interested in everything. This might sound like I'm boasting myself, but I was often the kid, I was a person who was like interested in everything because I like understanding everything. And there's a reason for that, I believe, like now that I've learned certain things about myself, but maybe we'll get into that later on in some future videos. But I did basketball, I did track, and I danced. I wanted to do debate. I wanted to be a part of any club that existed. I wanted to take singing classes. I took sculpting. I played an instrument. I played the clarinet, and I would have loved to learn drums. I would have loved to learn the saxophone. I wanted to do everything because I was interested in everything. Even in sports, I was good in sports too. I did track. For the things that I did do in track, like was I like the best runner? No, but I did do things like discus, javelin, and high jump. High jump was one of the things I was better at, and I'm sure with some training I could have done well in that as well. I did shot put and things like that, but I did a lot of things because I was interested in a lot of things, and if I could do more, I would have done more. I did swimming, and what it was is that I found interest in everything, and I think genuinely searching for what I was good at. Honestly speaking, everything that I chose to do, I did well. I did decently, for the exception of art. I'm really bad at art because I don't think art is as simple as understanding the concept and applying it, because art is a skill in itself. I genuinely have so much like awe. I'm genuinely in awe for artists because I just can't conceptualize how they're able to think of something and put it on paper, or even just be creative and draw it nicely with that kind of skill set. And I'm still figuring out how to write properly, how to make my writing nice. It was nice back when I was 9, and then I stopped caring. But the point that I was trying to say is most of the things that I chose to like go into, try and attempt to learn, I did pretty well. I was pretty good at it, but I was never the best. I was always within the average or better than the average, but I was never the best. And that frustrated me because I wanted to be the best at something. I wanted to know what my thing was, because kind of understanding what your thing is knowing what you're best at. What are you the best at doing? I was never the best. I was never exceptional at anything that I did. Ever. But I was really good at everything that I did. I don't even know if I mentioned this. I played basketball and I was pretty good at basketball. But I was not the best. I danced. I was definitely among the better dancers of my group, but was I the best in my group? Absolutely not. I love to sing and I'm a decent singer, and anyone who's heard me sing knows that I'm a decent singer. Am I any Beyonce? Am I Mariah Carey? No, I am not any of these people. Unfortunately, sadly. That is, in terms of anything that I went into, I was always really good at it, but I was never the best at it. And it was so frustrating because I genuinely knew that I was meant to do something good. I was meant to do something great, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I couldn't figure out what it was. My mom said, what did she even say to me? It just felt like nonsense to me that I just couldn't hear it. I was like, no, that's
not a skill. That's not a skill.
Mom, if you're watching this video, I'm sure you're watching this video, please comment what you would always tell me that I was good at, because at the top of my head, I can't remember what it was that you used to tell me when I would complain about, like, I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know what I was good at doing. And if you see my sister, she's a phenomenal dancer. Like, she is the person that, like, I don't want to jinx her. Like, she's great. I don't want to jinx her. I want to keep, like, I wish her nothing but prosperity and winning mentality and success and all of the above. I hope that I'm not jinxing it for her, but she's always been the girl that she was always noticed while we were dancing as kids. As she grew up, as she got older, she was always really, really good at dance and would be recognized for that. And you could tell, and people could tell from looking at her that that was her purpose. And it's kind of, because it's a very, like, obvious purpose. It's very, like, in your face that you can see that that's her thing, that it's kind of hard. And you're like, what's my thing? Like, what am I good at? What am I supposed to be doing? And I'm doing all of these things and I'm good at them, but am I the best at it? No. And she was definitely among the best. She was definitely the best. My sister, when she's dancing, she's the best, or at least with the best people. But me, couldn't figure it out because it wasn't in my face like her. It wasn't so obvious like her. And so as I get old, I'm starting to understand life. I think I understand life, or I'm discovering what life really is, okay? Let's just put it that way. I'm discovering what life is actually comprised of. Not this foolishness that I thought it was when I was younger. It's not this. It was definitely not what I expected, okay? Adult life hit me like a bag of bricks, okay? Like, it hit me hard. It was like a wake-up call. Like, it was something that was like, you need to be aware of what this is really going to be about, and you need to be aware of it now. One of the things that growing up was I was often told to be argumentative, and I was someone who always had something to say back. But generally speaking is because, one, I couldn't stand anything that I didn't think sat with the truth. If it didn't make sense, if you're just claiming something that isn't true, that's something that immediately would rile me up, and till this day still riles me up. When you say something that is false or that goes against what is true, knowing very well that it's not true, or anyways, if it's not true, I do not like. That was one thing. Another thing was that if it didn't make sense, I was going to tell you it didn't make sense. And oftentimes that would upset a lot of the adults in my life, because which adult likes to be told that they're wrong? Which adult likes to be challenged? And oftentimes that's what they would claim that I was doing, challenging them. But truthfully speaking, until this day, I'm not challenging anybody. I'm inviting anyone to contradict me if they so please. I'm inviting anyone to come and have a conversation with me with whatever topic that they may not agree with, and we may discuss it further. But I will stand and always say when I think that what you're saying does not make sense. Because the way that I kind of gather information is, does it follow like a logical flow? If there are holes in what you're saying, then I have to pinpoint it and figure out like what's wrong with it. Because the way that my brain processes information is that it kind of needs to understand the connections between things in order to understand the deeper meaning of whatever you're telling me. And if I don't understand the deeper meaning of it, then it doesn't make sense. And so I always tend to investigate further. So I've always asked a lot of questions. I would try to understand a little bit better. And oftentimes that caused me a little bit of problems. But at the end of the day, that's how I was. And that's how I've always been for quite a bit of time. Now, another thing about me is I figured out that I love children. It's to a degree that like I could tell how much I love children when I was like 15, because I was like getting baby fever when I was like 15 years old. Because there's something about children that I believe is so precious. The purity, their approach to the world is something that I respect so much about children. And that was another thing that's a phenomenon that came on later on as I turned like 19, 20, as I realized like, oh okay, like
This is something that I really, 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 really love.
I just love them so much, and I just love being around them. They genuinely just make me happy. They boost my mood, and I just love that the impact that I have when I'm around them. And there's another thing is there's a beauty in them and the ability that you have to have a positive influence, but also the responsibility that it comes with, and knowing that you can easily also affect them very negatively is something that I cherish and something that I take very seriously, because that responsibility is great, but that responsibility, if used correctly, can create something so beautiful that you're dedicated to understanding what a child needs in order to flourish as an individual. But another thing that I realized about myself was that because I'm so focused on always understanding everything, which if you stick with me into future videos will understand how that's also been my detriment, needing to understand everything. But because I have that, I tend to be really interested in psychology, because psychology gives you a good explanation and predictability in what to expect from people and individuals, and kind of basically having an idea behind behavior and where it comes from and why it is the way that it is. And then recently I started realizing how interested in philosophy that I am, and because I'm so centered with the truth and looking for that specific truth, and I kind of like the idea of combining both, as in understanding the science behind a person, what a person's truth could be comprised of, and what this world is comprised of, and what a truth is meant to look like. So that's kind of how I started understanding a little bit what my purpose is. If I have to focus only on the things that I like, for example, I like a lot of things because my interests change a lot, and I always want to try new things. I always want to discover new things. I always want to learn about something new. But definitely what I realized are that I love to dance. That is like my safe place, and it's probably because I did it for a really, really long time. But at the same time, I also love to sing. And it's funny because I don't really sing too much for people. I have performed for people in my life a couple of times here and there, but singing really just became for me. It was really just something that I like to do and train myself to do, and kind of like figure out and maneuver and listen and test my limits and things like that. But these are my interests. These are things that I like to do, probably an assortment of a lot of other things as well. But what am I good at? Well, I don't want to say what I'm good at without like revealing what I think my purpose is, but I'm definitely good at, okay, I'll reveal what I think I'm good at. I'm good at finding holes in an already solved problem, kind of decided idea, or finding holes in something that I find to be incomplete, because I do think that everything is interconnected. I do think that life is a little bit more complex. Even though we try to simplify it, it is very, very complex, and it seems a little bit ridiculous to try to fit it into a specific box. But even I myself do get overwhelmed when I start realizing the complexity of things, and when I start thinking about all the variables and all the possibilities, then I get system overload. And that's how my family sometimes says that you're going to become crazy, Ocean, if you try to understand everyone and everything. And they're not wrong. What if I think about what my particular skill at is? I think it's just basically finding a solution in a problem. Yeah. You could argue it's not a skill, but I think I'm going to call it a skill because that might help you understand what I think my purpose is. If you hear everything that I said and can put together everything that I said, then you can kind of understand what I think my purpose is. And again, I ended up doing this channel, or being able to like sit here and do all of these videos and just be excited about it, because I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it to be true to myself and what I'm passionate about and what I like and what my interests are and what I think I'm good at as well, and being in line with my purpose. And I think that's what I'm trying to figure out how to do, and I am trying to encourage other people to do. Finding your purpose, I can't say it's always easy. For some people, when it's very clear, it's very in your face, it's a little bit easier to understand what your purpose is. But even sometimes what you're good at isn't always what you're meant to do, so because it's not something that you're interested in. I ran out of storage, but I really want to finish this this video. It's already late and you can see from my background, I guess, a little bit that it's getting dark and I'm using some lighting in order to make this work. But I just want to end this video already. To try to end this video, I was just trying to say that your purpose it needs to be comprised of your interest as well as things that you're good at, and that will align you to figure out like what you are meant to do, what your role in this world is, and what you're meant to bring to the table, right? But that requires a lot of introspection. It's not always in your face, it's not always obvious, and sometimes when it is obvious, it doesn't mean that you'll understand it as your purpose, because life is not easy. Obviously, it's a bumpy road. And photographic memory, for example, and they are able to remember everything in a text. And some people would think you should work into the sciences, but they're more like creative and artistic, and so you might be conflicted with what you're meant to do, or it doesn't work with what you're interested in. And you just gotta figure it out. You gotta do some introspection. You just gotta understand you. And that goes back to what I was trying to say, is staying true to yourself. I think by staying true to yourself, you'll have a better understanding of like what it is your purpose. And I think that's a good like introduction to the topic. I'm sure this will come up so much in my future videos, but I'm just kind of like bringing up the idea, bringing up the concept for people to like maybe play with, talk about, figure out for themselves, and ask me about it, what I think about it. But in no way am I a professional, am I an expert, and I'm figuring this out with everyone else, and I'm kind of just trying to put the pieces together with what I can offer and what I have under my belt. And if you think you understand what I think my purpose is, or what you think my purpose may be, go and comment it, go and ask me about it, talk to somebody that I know, talk to me directly if you know me personally, or even question what your own purpose is. Are you sitting in your purpose? Are you doing what you are meant to bring to this world? Are you doing something that's true to you, not what you think you should be doing, or what people think that you should do, or what you think will make you the most amount of money? What is your purpose? And I think that's the bigger question here, and that's what I wanted to bring to the table. And so I appreciate everyone listening to my video and staying this whole entire time. I'm really hoping that this didn't pass 40 minutes, so that I can try to trim this video to like 30 minutes to the maximum. But have a great day, night, evening, afternoon, or morning, whatever time you're watching this video. Thank you so much for watching until the end, if you did, or even if you skipped through and listened to the good parts. But I appreciate all of the support. Don't forget to like, please comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you are aware of when I have new videos. But I would be posting every Wednesday and every Sunday, but if I don't post on Wednesday, I will for sure be posting on Sunday. And take care of yourself. I'll see you in my next video. And I'm sorry again for the quality of this outro, because I ran out of storage, and so we had to improvise. Have a good one, you guys. Bye.